Good morning to our teachers and our peers. We are Group 3 and will be presenting our Sustainability and Climate Action presentation. Firstly, I will introduce every member of the team. My name is Farhana and I will handle the introduction and conclusion. Geraldine and Riley will explain the project problem, while Beckham and Rabia will present the project solution. Next, this is our content list. Next, to start off, we chose sustainable materials as our research topic. So, what are sustainable materials? By definition, they are materials that are produced, used, and disposed of in ways that minimize environmental impact while also promoting social responsibility. This graph effectively illustrates the process and impact of using sustainable materials, which resulted in a circular economy. Next. So, why is it important? According to a Business Insider article, the fast fashion industry contributed at least 10% to global carbon emissions. Over here, the pie chart shows that the percentage for the fast fashion industry surpasses even other main contributors such as maritime shipping and international flights. This 10% comes from factors like packaging practices, textile production, and especially unsustainable materials. Furthermore, a report by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation predicted that the fast fashion share of global carbon emissions could reach 25% by 2050 if the problem still persists. Next slide. In addition, the emissions profile for Singapore alone in 2022 in this pie chart shows 49% contributed by the industry sector. And according to Straits Times, 29% of Singapore's carbon emissions comes from the fast fashion industry. Now I will let Geraldine take over.
So moving on to the problem statement, fast fashion refers to affordable, stylish clothing produced quickly to meet ever-changing trends, while it offers the consumer the opportunity to purchase trendy items at low prices, and it often relies on unsustainable material and ethical issues in production, contributing to significant environmental waste and social concern. I will take over to Riley.
So, as we all know, Shein is known for its plastic packaging and unsustainable materials used in their products. The brand produces a large number of daily items, significantly contributing to the environmental waste. Most of their clothing is made from polyester, which is a synthetic material that adds to plastic pollution. Shein also uses PE plastic for their poly bags, and the improper disposal of these bags can contribute to landfill waste. However, Shein has pledged to reduce single-use plastic in their product packaging by 2030 as part of their sustainable efforts. Next slide. So another company we have found that uses unsustainable material is Uniqlo. So Uniqlo relies on single-use packaging for their shipping and mainly consists of polybags and PET plastics, which also contributes to microplastic pollution as the material breaks down into smaller particles. Additionally, many of Uniqlo's shirts are made from polyester, which is also the synthetic material that adds to the growing issue of plastic waste in the environment. Next slide. So now we'll be starting with the economic factor that ties to the fast fashion industry. So while the industry is booming with profits, it also creates a substantial problem for workers like their stagnant wages. To be able to employ millions of people, the industry have to sacrifice the wages of workers, leaving them trapped with no financial freedom in their lives. At the same time, shareholders would often prioritize the short-term investment, which have lower commitments and quicker returns. While the stakeholders are at benefits of the short-term investment, it actually weakens the economic stability of the long-term investments. Next slide. Moving on from the economic factor, we have the fast fashion of social impact. Let us shed some light on the human cost of fast fashion. While the industry provides cheap and affordable clothing to us, it also relies on cheap labor and poor working conditions. Exploitation of workers from countries like Bangladesh, workers can earn as little up to $96 per month with extreme and harsh conditions like restriction of sanitary needs for up to 36 hours. In such a fast-paced and highly stressful working environment, workers are at significant risk of developing severe mental health issues. However, the consumer value trends over the quality of their clothing. As the trend come and go, so does the frequency with such clothing is used and discarded. Next slide. So now I'll be talking about the environmental impact of fast fashion, which is actually the second most polluting industry in the world, responsible for 10% of global carbon emission and 20% of water usage, making it a major contributor to climate change. Did you know that 87% of clothing materials end up in landfills? That's because the frequency of wearing the items has dropped by 36% over the past 15 years. In addition, the making and transporting of clothing contribute to both carbon emissions and plastic pollutions. Next slide. Now I'll be moving back to Geraldine.
So for some customer, they will actually save cost by purchasing a second-hand clothes, for example, thrift store, as they both offer used and new clothes, and they are also very popular among the youth. H&M and Uniqlo have provided a recycling bins in their store when customers can recycle their clothes. To summarize the repeatable problem, the sustainable material are material that produced in a way to minimize the environmental dispose of responsibility to reduce harm to the environmental and promote social responsibility.
So next
Rabia can
I'll
take over.
sorry. So next I'll be talking about the solution. So the solution of our problem would be using bioplastic materials for packaging. What are bioplastics, you may ask? They are basically plastics that are made of renewable resources like plants, waste, or microorganisms. So why are they great? They reduce plastic pollution, improve soil fertility, and lastly, they are also strong, making them ideal for carrying heavy goods for a long period of time. Next. So how can we implement it in Singapore? As I believe most of us are Singaporeans, we know that our country is small and therefore we do not have a lot of spaces for trash. So regular plastics can take a long time to break down and can also harm the animals and also Mother Earth itself. Um, Therefore, our group feels that with the help of bioplastics, it can help reduce the problem. So, how can Singapore use bioplastics? We can use it in stores such as grocery stores, fashion stores, or even F&B, where we can replace the regular plastics to bioplastics. Next. So the social economic impact is that bioplastics help more people learn more about the eco-friendly and eco-friendly friendly and care for the plants, inspiring conversations about about protecting the environment. They are also safer than regular plastics, with a fewer harmful chemicals and making them better for both our health and also the earth. Plus, the bioplastic industry creates jobs in farming, factories, and recycling, giving people work while helping the planet itself. Overall, bioplastics make the world a cleaner, safer, and a greener place. Next. Bioplastics have a positive impact on the environment by reducing plastic pollutions. Unlike regular plastic, they can also break down naturally, which means less waste in landfills and oceans. They also have a lower carbon footprint because the plants that are used to absorb carbon dioxide help to slow down climate change. Additionally, bioplastics rely less on fossil fuels, unlike traditional plastic that are usually made from oil. This makes bioplastic a cleaner and more sustainable choice for the planet. Next. As for the economical impact, bioplastics create new business opportunities by giving companies a chance to produce and sell eco-friendly products, le- leading to a grow and profitable industry. They also help reduce waste costs since less trash means lesser expenses for the waste management in the future. Overall, bioplastics support the economy by promoting sustainability. Now I'll be handing off my time to Beckham.
Yeah, thank you, Rabaya. So moving on to challenges, we have three challenges, which consist of social challenges, economical challenges, and environmental challenges. So for social challenges, not everyone knows what bioplastics are. They are also used to regular plastics and also may be hesitant to switch it. So bioplastics also cost more, so not everyone will be willing to spend a little more on a plastic bag when they're out shopping. Lastly, people might litter thinking that bioplastics can break down easily. Next. So to back up for the points in the previous slide, our group actually conducted a survey on bioplastics to see if users know what it is and if they are willing to spend on it. So the survey consists of three questions. So the first question is, would you want to use bioplastic instead of regular plastics? Eh? Sorry.
It's okay.
The survey consists of three questions. First question would be, have you ever heard of bioplastics? Would you want to use bioplastics instead of regular plastics? And would you buy bioplastics and use them for shopping? So based on a chart shown on the slides, majority of the surveyors have never heard of bioplastics. We also asked if they would not be willing to use bioplastic instead of regular plastics, as the price of the bag will increase, making it less affordable than regular plastics. And nearly three-quarter of them said no. Lastly, we asked if users would buy bioplastics and use them for shopping trips, and if not, why. So most of the answers were no, as they were expensive and not affordable, though some users said yes, as they would want to be environmentally friendly and save the earth. Next. So for the second challenge will be environmental challenge. So growing plants for bioplastics requires land, water, and fertilizers, which can harm Mother Nature herself. For land, water, and fertilizers use, growing crops for bioplastics can lead to biodiversity loss, soil erosion, and carbon losses. For fertilizer use, the use of both fertilizer and pesticides can lead to eutrophication, acidification, and nitrous oxides emissions. For water, the making of bioplastics requires a lot of water usage. And lastly, doesn't mean using bioplastics can 100% save the earth. Bioplastics can also cause pollution and may end up doing more harm than good. So for the last challenge will be economical challenge. It is proven that bioplastics cost more than regular plastics, with a 20 to 30% increase in cost. It is primarily due to the use of natural raw materials such as starch, vegetables, and cellulose, and complex prediction processes. Another thing about economical challenge is that not all bioplastics can break down easily. Therefore, it requires special facilities to break it down, which also cost more. Lastly, in relation to the second point, Singapore needs to have these special facilities to handle bioplastics. Countries like Poland have their own biofacilities where they are able to make bioplastics from bacteria. So based on the slide, there's a video about it. Next. Next slide. Thank you. So here are some examples of companies that are using bioplastics in their operation. So first we have three: Gani, Puma, and Gabriela Hearst. So for Gani is a company that produces fur clothing, but their material use are all eco-friendly materials. They also incorporate bio-based plastics into their packaging to reduce reliance on fossil fuels. So for Puma, in 2020, Puma began using polymaterial bioplastic technology for its shopping bags, aligning with its commitment to eliminate virgin plastics by 2025, which is this year. Lastly, we have Gabriela Hearst, where they became the first brand to introduce compostable bioplastics for all their packaging. Next. So for our deliverable solution, we have to come up with an idea. Well, we have came up with the idea to give out brochures to customers promoting bioplastics and listing down the relevant information into the brochure itself. We also implemented a QR code for customers to scan if they want to find out more about bioplastics and what it does. Thank you. So for now, I'll pass it back to Farhana to conclude our presentation.
Thank you. In conclusion, using bioplastics for fast fashion packaging is an important step towards a sustainable future. While it may sound scary because of the cost and other challenges, the long-term benefits for the environment are worth it. Bioplastics are not only renewable and biodegradable, they also support a circular economy, which is illustrated beautifully in this graph, showing how the manufacturing and disposal process eventually leads back to one another again. By raising awareness to the public consumers with the brochure and more fast fashion companies adopting this sustainable material in their packaging, the carbon emission contribution may reduce significantly from their current percentage globally and locally, creating a greener future. We hope to especially see more fast fashion retailers in Singapore adopting this step too. So next, this is just our reference. And lastly, that will be the end of our presentation. Thank you.